All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Glenn, for allowing me to come speak about the foundation, and also something some of you may already know about, some of you may not, is the EITC program provided by the state of Pennsylvania. Does anybody here currently participate in the EITC program or anything like that? Okay, nobody? It's good. That has good news and bad news. So I'll save the bad news for the end. The good news is we have a foundation here in Elizabethtown that supports our school district with various initiatives and stuff like that that isn't a part of the actual school district per se. What we typically do is we have scholarships or grants. Start with the grants. The grants we award, teachers come up with ideas with things that may be incredibly helpful in their classrooms, curriculums that may help the students, but aren't necessarily a part of the overall school district budget. What that allows us to do is raise some funds and participate in those and grant those funds to the teachers to implement in the following year or whatever the case may be. Some examples are one of my colleagues sent was we funded $10,000 to pilot a makerspace initiative in K through 6 buildings for hands-on instructional tools and that can be used to utilize critical thinking and creativity. The middle school, there was almost $2,100 for the Lego Robotics Club, and they compete at the middle school against other middle schools and stuff like that. $2,000 for a drone. That was originally for the agricultural program, so they could fly over farms and see different things that they could do. That's being used in other areas of the school as well now, not just the agricultural. So we may have a second one of those coming. There was $1,000 for video production, $3,000 each to many elementary schools to promote literacy. That's the Bringing Up and Ready Rosie. This one was interesting. It was a $3,500 for Critical Care Jerry, which was a dog, a mannequin, anatomically correct mannequin for the agricultural students to learn the different systems in biology and stuff for kids that wanted to go into pre-veterinary care and agricultural stuff. $3,500 for speech therapy and another $3,500 for an enrichment program for a stationary bike that generates electricity at Bear Creek so that they can learn what it takes and when they're using a device, how much energy it consumes and that kind of stuff. So all kinds of fascinating stuff. And this is just a portion of what we've done and what we've been able to do. Sometimes we turn grants away. We don't always approve all of them. Sometimes due to funding, sometimes, there just isn't the, we're increasing our visibility of the foundation. I'm not sure how many of you even knew that the foundation existed. And so sometimes the teachers don't know that they have the opportunity to present these items to get these things funded and stuff like that. So, and then some of the things, I think one of the things we funded was called The Leader in Me, which was, is based on Dr. Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's been rolled out, and that we funded the pilot of that, and that is now part of the overall school district budget and curriculum. So that's oftentimes we fund the pilot program to get it going, and then to have that then become part of the whole school district as a whole. So again, personally, I should have introduced myself first. I am the treasurer. I also am the controller at Long and Necker's Hatchery. Tony got me the invite to get up here to speak to you. So my HR representative is here. So please don't, please don't get me in trouble. Also I live in E-Town. I lived over off of Bainbridge Road for a while. Now we live up over here at Groff. I think some of you guys heard my backyard butts up against Norm's backyard. So we see each other regularly. But my daughter graduated last year. She's at York College now. And my son goes to Bear Creek Elementary School. He'll be at middle school next year. So vested interest in the foundation and the school district, of course. Grant. So that's the grant programs. We also offer scholarship programs. Jane Hoover, some of you may have known. She was a longtime physical ed teacher and field hockey coach at the school. She left an estate to the foundation, and it allows us to provide scholarships for those that want to get into the health sciences. We award 4 4-year, $2,500 a year scholarships based on the gift that she left the foundation. So pretty incredible legacy for her to leave. We also provide citizenship awards. That's on behalf of the foundation. Those are 1-year scholarships. I think we did 5 of those last year. And then we have a couple of other veterinary scholarship, a softball scholarship, and some other ones occasionally pop up. There was a Blake Shear scholarship for the young man that was killed at the basketball court there, and that had some money that was awarded to a student this year. So as people find something that they want to participate in and they donate the money to it, we can award that to whomever. And generally, we just support the school district in general. During COVID, we had signs for the teachers. I don't know if anybody saw the teacher lives here out in front of people's houses. I live next to a teacher. The next door is Mr. Crick in the athletic department. And so, we just do that kind of stuff and support those types of initiatives. Current initiatives that are going on right now, there's a welding program the school wants to do. So some of you may know some folks on the board. I know Bob's on the board with me. So you may be getting some phone calls to try to raise some funds to get a welding program started. To the school district, I think, if anybody's heard Dr. Balliet speak, college isn't for everybody. Some folks want to learn a trade. Some folks want to go right out of high school. So it's how do we prepare the students for a career as well, not just how to prepare them for college. And so trying to initiate those programs. So some of those things could be coming up. And then we also do, I heard Deb say that one of the students was attending Lancaster County Career and Technology Center. My daughter she's at York College for nursing. She did her senior year through LCCTC and was immersed in all the hospitals in the area. It was incredible. So one of the foundation also allows us to support those types of things as well. Ways to support the foundation, other than board serving, you can do that as well. General donations, those are general, no restrictions, whatever. This goes for all nonprofits as well. Restricted donations with a purpose. Jane Hoover left a gift, but left a restriction that it has to be used for scholarships for those in the health sciences. So that's what we can use those funds for. One of the softball scholarship is for somebody who's playing softball in school. Only those folks that are eligible that can do that are eligible for that scholarship. So those types of things. And lastly, what I'm going to speak about here next is the EITC program. And the EITC program is the Educational Improvement Tax Credit Program. That's the website. If you Google EITC space PA, it takes you right to this website as the first return. Once you click on this website, it's got a bunch of PDFs. It's got everything. It's got the list of who the participants are, who the eligible recipients of your gifts could be, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the EITC program is a program to incentivize charitable giving to educational institutions in lieu of paying various taxes to the state of Pennsylvania. You can do a 1-year, 2-year commitment to the program. If you do a 1-year, you only get a 75% credit. So that means if you donated $10,000, you get $7,500 in credit to apply to your state taxes. If you do 2-year, that goes up to 90%. So they try to incentivize people to do a longer commitment. And I did reach out because I've never had anybody do this, and I was curious what happens if you apply for a 2-year commitment and you participate in the first year and then don't participate in the second year and don't donate what you were approved for. They will go back and recalculate that you should have only gotten 75% last year instead of 90%, charge you with some tax due and some interest and penalties. And then you're not a renewer. You lose your status as an eligible participant in the EITC, and you have to apply when everybody else applies, which we'll get to in a second. The types of taxes offset by the credit. I'm familiar with the first 3 on a lot of the clients I used to work at, a public accounting firm. A lot of our clients were subject to the first 3. I don't know that I had anybody applicable to the last 4 there. There was some retaliatory fees under Section 212 of the Insurance Company Law of 1921. I have no idea what that is. But if it applies to you, you can use a credit to offset some of that. Nor may be eligible for the malt beverage tax. I don't know. I didn't have any brewing companies or anything on my client list. There are 3 types of the EITC credit. There's the pre-K support. Everybody loves kids younger than kindergarten age. That one fills up very quickly. You can do up to $200,000 in a year in credit. Now at Pennsylvania's 3.07 tax rate, that's a hefty income number, right? To credit all that. 100% of your credit is for the first $10,000 that you donate, you get 100% match on your tax credit. After that, it's 90%. EITC, which is what the Educational Foundation is, you can do up to $750,000 a year, which I calculated to almost $25 million of income. So if you need that, that's a big number. But that's for innovative programs. That's going to flow to a lot of our scholarship programs. Those types are not the scholarship program. There are grant programs like we were doing, like the critical care Jerry, the drones, those types of things. Those are all eligible. A lot of the Career and Technology Center stuff is also eligible as well. One thing I did look up this morning and last night as well was the OSTC program. That's also same things as the EITC program, but a different set of organizations. Those are mostly geared toward private schools, whether it's a religious private school or some other type of private school. Those are geared towards helping students that wouldn't be able to afford to go there. You could give money to those schools and they can put it in their scholarship fund to help kids in need to be able to attend their school. The application process, it's only eligible to businesses. Individuals cannot apply directly to the state for EITC. The benefit, though, can be passed through. I'm assuming some of the business owners here and on Zoom are LLCs, S corporations, sole proprietorships, partnerships. Those are what's called flow-through entities. You don't pay tax at the entity level. That tax flows through to your personal tax return. So the EITC functions the very same way. You apply as your business, you make the donation through your business, and all that flows to your personal tax return, the credit included on your personal tax return. Similarly, if you're a C Corp, it all applies at your, it all comes through on your corporate tax return. However, there are ways that individuals can participate. I'm going to defer to your tax professional on that. They're relatively new. They're somewhat can be complicated. They're called special purpose entities. They're LLCs that were formed exclusively to participate in this program with the state. Their only purpose is for you to buy into the LLC. Say you buy in for $5,000. They generate all this money. They have no income, no deductions, and then all the money is just donated out to the nonprofits. And you can dictate where you want it to go. Again, your tax professional should be able to point you in the direction of one of those. And if not, I have cards. I was speaking with guys I used to work with that are, at the firm I used to work with last night. They work with them all the time. If you need a contact, let me know. But you do have to also identify the program you're applying for up front, whether it's pre-K, EITC, or the OSTC, the scholarship one. The key dates, May 15th is when, if you're renewing, if you're already in the program, which nobody raised their hand, so nobody's going to get to apply by May 15th. That's the renewal time. July 1st is when new applicants get to apply. And if you applied on May 15th, the one question I haven't been able to answer is if you applied 2 years ago, this is year 2, you donated $10,000 in each year to get your credit. When I apply this May 15th, if I want to up it to 15 or 20, can I just apply at renewal time for 15 and 20? I had to leave a few voicemails. Nobody's gotten back to me just yet. So I don't know the answer to that question, because what July 1st says is you have your initial applicant. If you never participated in the program before, you can apply July 1st. But you can also apply July 1st again for any additional funding. Say you applied for the same 10,000 in May that you've always done, then in July, in June, you're thinking, man, this year is going to be a killer. I want to, up my up my giving so that I can not pay tax to the state. And you can apply July 1st for additional. So you can go for another 10 or 5 or whatever you might want to. But I don't know that you could do that right away. I know people have tried. I just don't know how it ever shook out. And if you do the 2-year commitment, you still have to apply. Again, it's not an application, it's a different form on the May 15th of the following year of year 2, just to make sure that the program hasn't changed. They haven't changed their mind on anything. It's the state who knows what they do sometimes. Here's the bad news. The pre-K and the EITC credits fill up very quickly. Everybody wants to do them. They just, the introduction of the SPEs, you know, people just, they form these LLCs and they say, we want to apply for $200,000 of credit. And then we'll get people to fill up our LLC later. And that's what they do. And so it takes up the funding and everything else. So even if you are a business and you know that your income is going to say maybe be $200,000 this year, and so you're looking at a tax bill of over $6,000, you still may want to pursue the SPE route and have your tax professional put you in contact with an SPE to buy in for $6,000 worth of SPE. And then you can tell that SPE where you want your $6,000 to go, whether it's the foundation, whether it's another deserving organization, whatever you want to do. You can do that, and you can direct it, and they honor it. Now, the reason a lot of accountants with philanthropic hearts set up these SPEs and they run it free of charge, because what happens is there's going to be a lot of people that donate to these SPEs, don't direct where they want their money to go, and then the accountant goes, great, the nonprofit I like is going to get all this money. So that's essentially what happened. So, and yeah, the next question is, I don't know if I'm going to be setting up an SPE or not. So that's down the road, but there are some nuance. So if you are a business, and again, that income is going to flow to you personally. So you would still register with the SPE as an individual person, and say, I want to buy some EITC credit, and that's how that would work. An extra bonus, remember how I said at the beginning, if you do the first year of a 2-year commitment and you take 90%, you don't do the second year because for whatever reason your income's volatile or whatnot, then they go back and charge you for that 75% year. Well, the SPEs register for 2 years, and they don't care who participates in either year. So you may just want to participate this year, get registered with an SPE, make the donation, you get the benefit of the 90% credit, but then you don't have any obligation in year 2. That's up to them to find more people to participate. The OSTC often has a lot of availability. I did look on, again, that last night and this morning, I didn't see like Mount Calvary on there. I didn't see some of the other schools. I saw the Susquehanna Waldorf School. I saw the Janus School. I saw Lancaster County Career and Technology Center Foundation is on there as well. So if there's a program there that benefits your business, that you know, you could always participate in those things as well. So of course, the Educational Foundation is an EITC entity. If you're already a participant in the program, you know, I would ask you to consider the foundation for a portion of your donations. If you're not participating, I would suggest you try to get in, whether it's through SPE or through applying on July 1st. We could see some availability with 2020 being a down year for a lot of folks that maybe not want to participate again in the coming years. I really, and I was talking to my friends last night, I said, I still really don't see a downside to participating in the EITC program. Whether the foundation benefits for it or not, it is what it is. But I have never met a business owner in 14 years of accounting and 8 of it in public accounting that has preferred to write a check to the Department of Revenue than a nonprofit. So I've never seen that happen. So that's really the crux of it. I know I flew through that. I figured it would take a little longer, but I can talk quickly. I'm open for questions. I can answer what I can. I'm a couple of years removed from public accounting, so it's not, nothing really changed with this program at all, other than the fact that, so what, I can get into the weeds a little bit and nerd out for you guys. The The Schedule A on your tax return has your state and local taxes you paid, your charitable contributions, your mortgage interest, real estate taxes, all that kind of stuff. So President Trump's tax return changed they put a limit on the state and local taxes you could deduct. So it's $10,000. So for Pennsylvania, it's not that big of a deal. It's 3.07. And so it's, I think it was 100 and, it's $300,000 you have to be making to max that out. But the higher taxed states, New York, California, all those guys, they were setting up funds to create so that people could pay their taxes to that fund and get a charitable donation instead of being limited on that line on their tax return. Because what was happening is also the EITCs for all these states were filling up incredibly quickly. Because again, nobody wants to write a check to the state, they want to write a check to a nonprofit. So what was happening is somebody would write, if a bank was making $5 million in the state of Pennsylvania, well, I don't want to pay the state, I can just, shift that down to the charitable contributions line. So the IRS smacked everybody's hands and said, if you have a charitable contribution that gave you a state tax credit, you can't take the deduction on your federal tax return. That is the only slight downside. Most of the clients I always dealt with donated money anyway. And this was a win-win because they're going to donate the money and I then don't have to write a check to the state. So it doesn't, there's no downside. I don't think it's not.
I have a quick statement followed by a question. So
yeah.
The statement is, I used to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And with Enterprise, we did this a lot.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, but man, there's no better, like to roll in with so Enterprise did it with a great big, roll up somewhere with a great big check to a school, especially, we were to where I was in Scranton, so there's some schools that just didn't have any money, right, to bring them. It's awesome. It's a really, really cool thing to do. So that said, I'm not with Enterprise anymore. I have a business. Yeah, what are how do I get involved in this? What's the next step? So
there's a link. So I'll give everybody my card. I have cards here. I'll help you fill the application out. I will do whatever. I'll save you some accounting fees. I hope there's no accountants in the room that are your accountants, but I'll save you some fees and you don't have to pay your accountants to fill it out. You have to apply online. So again, if you're not currently participating, you have to wait till July 1st. That's the only caveat. And you may or may not get it. The beauty of it is oftentimes you can apply July 1st. Once you're in, you're usually in. You just can keep renewing everything you want. But if you can't get in, again, that's when these special purpose entities come into play. You register with an LLC, which is set up just to do the EITC program, and you buy into that at whatever level you want. Typically, the guy I was talking to last night said that they usually require $3,500 at least commitment. So that means $120, $20,000 of income or whatever you'll be offsetting with your tax credit. So, but oftentimes they're still looking for investors in September, October. You write your donation, the special purpose entity will take care of everything. In some ways, special purpose entity is easier than doing it yourself on the website and with the state. However, because they'll make the donation, they'll get the letters back from the organization, they'll provide the documentation to the state and all that kind of stuff. And they'll give you copies of your stuff to attach to your tax return for the state. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, you've got to do that kind of stuff. But in other regards, it's never a guarantee. If that accountant retires and his special purpose entity folds after that because he was doing everything for free to keep everything going, then there's some risk there, I suppose. But it's really a win-win. And again, with the school districts all being budget strapped as it is, this is a way they may want to try something and just not have the money to do it. And you can't donate directly to a school district. So the foundation is a way to do that. So.
Dirk, I have a question.
Yes.
So you said if you get in or you don't get in,
mm-hmm.
What determines if you get in? If there's still space, or do they not like home brewing?
Yeah. They've dealt with Norm before, and they have a funding limit in how much that they are willing to give out every year in this program. So along those lines, they, May 15th, they renew everybody's stuff. And then July 1st, they take them on first come, first serve. And when I was in public accounting, we had a courier leave our office at 7:30 in the morning to get to Harrisburg and deliver our applications at 8 a.m. So that our guys were one of the first in line. Because then as they process them and they're approving them, that's eating up the funding. And once there's none, well, all these guys that we haven't processed yet are out of it. So again, I don't know if it's midnight on July 1st, or because we could all just meet here and we can all have an application festival, or if it's 8 a.m. or what the case may be, or I don't know how early the portal opens. Sometimes the link doesn't work to apply until a certain time, and so if it's just that or whatnot, but there is a funding limit. They only put so much money in it every year, and when it dries up. Now they break that up as well between the pre-K, EITC, and the scholarship part. And so that's why I say the EITC fills up most of the time. The pre-K fills up all the time because everybody loves the little kids. And then the scholarship sometimes is the one oftentimes where people, struggle. They struggle to fill it up. There's usually opportunities all the time for that one. But the pool of people that can receive those funds is smaller. So that's the tough one. There's Catholic schools and, Mennonite schools and everything all throughout them that accept those types of funds.
I had a question, Derek.
Yes.
As a former educator,
Yeah.
where I was, the Education Foundation gave monies to the faculty for special projects or special events that were, really educationally awesome, but it wasn't in the budget for that school year. Right. Did you allude to that earlier?
Yeah, that's what our grants are for the dog, the anatomically correct dog for the veterinarian. Like those are the projects that aren't in the school district budgets, but the teachers are like, man, this would be really nice. And then so they fill out a form and apply. How's this going to benefit the kids, everything else. We have a committee that reviews all of them and brings, we set a dollar amount and bring this many with this amount to the table, and they bring what they feel are the top ones, the most innovative or whatever. Some of them border on the line of, well, isn't the school district supposed to, that's part of just teaching the class, right? And so that's where we really start to see those types of benefits. And so they pick the right ones, and then we go and approve them, or I've not seen any that have been recommended that we've denied. So
can you give any examples of other projects?
I just have the ones. I've only been on the board for a couple of years, and but it was just the drone, the video learning studio, the literacy initiatives, the agricultural, the dog, the speech therapy stuff with multi-sensory devices for the speech therapy, the electric generating stationary bike, so they can see what the draws are and how much it takes to generate that electricity and stuff like that. So those are the types of things that they're kind of one-off kind of things that we try to promote, as opposed to, and then, like I said, some of them, the Leader in Me was a pilot program that they wanted to try that we funded, and now it's part of the school district curriculum because it worked well. So
any more questions on Zoom or in the room? Don't see any.
Excellent.
I guess not.
All right.
Derek, I would like to give you our speaker award or gift. It would be is one of these portable chargers to charge anything USB.
Awesome.
And of course, it has our club logo on it.
All right.
So thank you very much, sir. We appreciate
it.
Being here. Okay, everybody. So we'll look forward to seeing you in a room, whether Zoom or in person here. Monday reminder is not at MUDUC. So in case you're going there.
John,
Yes, there's a question.
sending out the invite today for next Friday? Okay.
Yes, all of you got an email that had important Rotary information. Thank you, Tom.